What's up, everybody? This is another episode of the Bean and Cheeseman Show. I am your host, Samantha Nahara, and we are live here at Credit Human in downtown San Antonio, Texas at the Pearl. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've got an amazing show for you as usual. This show is fun. We have a lot of fun, you guys. We celebrate community, culture, and comedy. That is what it's about. I'm a chismosa. Are you a chismosa? If you're a chismosa, send some hearts right now, okay? We have some chingonas actually coming on the show. If you don't know what a chingona is, it's a female badass. It's pretty much what it is. We have two incredible women who are our guests tonight. I cannot wait to introduce you to them. You probably already know who they are, but I get the honor and the privilege of interviewing them, and we're going to have a great time tonight. But as usual, before we get to the show, before we get started with the cheeseman, we got to thank our sponsors. We'd like to thank Credit Human, which is where we're at right now. It is a credit union who is dedicated to helping their members with financial health, financial literacy, and getting us all in a better place. And that's why I'm wearing green, you guys, because I like green, you like green. That's why this partnership works. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't like money? And I'd also like to thank our next sponsor, Alamo Paletas. It is hot, okay? I don't know if you know this, but we are going through a heat wave here in Texas, especially in San Antonio. And I wasn't ready for this, but Alamo Paletas is, and my buddy Pete over at Alamo Paletas has custom paletas, and he can do anything. Quinceañeras, birthday parties, barbecues, you name it, and he will deliver. And my favorite part about Alamo Paletas is the little carts. He's got these super cute carts, and you guys have got to visit his website, alamopaletas.com. And so thank you so much to our sponsors. Without you, we do not have an episode here to entertain you guys with and learn and educate ourselves on all kinds of topics. So thank you so much for that. And before I introduce to you our very first guest, Miss Irma Ruiz, roll this video and you will see how amazing she is.
You know what I mean? Like, my mom would say things like, Mija, don't touch yourself too much down there, you know? Because then you know what's going to happen. You'll go blind. Now, I'm not 100% blind. But I'm about 2 rubs away from collecting disability. Pay up!
You
know what I mean? Like, my mom would say
that
things
was
like
Irma, who is blind. Irma Ruiz, welcome.
Not 100% blind. Just 2 rubs away from being completely blind.
Being blind. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me on, Samantha. I remember the first time I saw you at a like, it was like a speakers convention. You were a motivational speaker, and I was there in the audience, and now I'm on her podcast.
That's so crazy.
Goals met.
Thank you.
Check mark.
I love how things always come full circle in life. And if you guys don't know who Irma is, she is a tenured seasoned comedian, Latina from Texas. She's born in San Antonio, but raised in Del Rio.
Yes.
So
Del
shout
Rio,
out to the Del
Texas.
Rio
I'm a
peoples.
border town girl right here.
Border town. So tell us everything, girl. How did a girl like you start in comedy?
Actually, it was an accident. I was in Del Rio, and Del Rio is a really small town. It's kind of hard to get comedians out there. And one of my friends was a booker, and somebody dropped from the show, and he asked me to do it like last minute, and I did horrible. But just like, you know, getting high for the worst time, and it's like the worst time in your life, you want to do it again.
You were like, let me do it again.
Yes.
But was it even in your mind or your wheelhouse?
no.
Like, let me try stand-up comedy. Like, it
No.
just came, it just landed in your lap like that.
Yes, just landed in my lap. And then after that, I started going to open mics and just doing a lot of writing. I actually went to classes, you know, just because I came in a little bit later in the game compared to a lot of comedians. Some of them start like at 19, 20 years old.
Right.
And I was
right.
starting at 40, you know,
Yeah.
so I had a lot of catching up to do. So
you took classes and kind of taught yourself
yeah.
the lay of the land.
Yes, because a lot of the younger comedians, they start really young, and so they have that time just to kind of just build off of experience. And I was like, oh, I don't have time for that. You know, I need like a quick class. And, you know, you can't take a class to actually learn how to be funny, but you can take a class to learn like the psychology of an audience. You could take a class to actually learn like joke structure and stuff. But writing the funny part, that you're on your own with that, you know.
I agree. I agree. And I met you through Chona, I
Yes.
believe, right? And if you guys don't know who Chona is, she is an up and coming comedian here out of San Antonio too. And she was a friend of mine who I met.
I don't even know if you can call her up and coming. She's up and there already.
She's already there. We're so
She's
proud of
there.
her, right?
Yes, she's actually
is.
gonna be doing the Laugh Factory in Reno.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. I'm
Dude, I
so
can't keep
proud
up
of
at
her.
this point for all the gigs she's booking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember, you know, Chona always gives you credit for
I know,
being
and
her
I love
madrina
her
in
for
comedy.
that. I love her for
Because
that.
it always takes that one person to open that door for you. I truly believe that. And sometimes it takes multiple people. But you were that person for Chona saying, you can do this. Why don't you come on my show?
And I
and
love
do
that she even called me on Mother's Day. Thank you. You're the mother. You're my mother of comedy. Oh, she's so sweet. I know. I love her so much.
So you do Chingona comedy show now.
I do
and you
do
put me
Chingona
on your
comedy.
lineup
Yes,
before too.
and
so
that
I've
was
always-
fun.
That was fun. At
I
LOL.
remember when I first started the Chingona comedy. I did my first show here in San Antonio, and then I did my second show. It happened to be because I don't know if you know this, HBO actually they have a Chingona comedy show.
Okay.
You know, which actually a few of my friends are on the show. Well, I didn't know them yet, not very well, and HBO happened to be recording their Chingona show here in San Antonio on the same day that I was having my Chingona show at a little bar here in San Antonio when it was just first starting, you know?
Okay.
And I even got an email. You know what I mean? Yeah. And somebody was like, "What is this? Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, this is just my second Chingona show. And I felt a little bit intimidated, you know? And I was like, should I not do this? Because, you know, HBO's doing their Chingona show.
I don't want to step on any toes.
But then I was like, you know what? Screw it. This is my town. You know, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, they send me a little,
cease and desist.
Yeah, but I was, at the time, I was a small timer. So, yeah, but it went pretty good.
And
you know,
here you are.
And I actually had one of my friends who was on their HBO show come and also do my show. And she was like, "Oh, your show was a little bit better."
Mira, you see, but you
No, a
take
lot
this
better.
show on the road. If you haven't seen the Chingonas of is it Chingona comedy
No,
show?
just Chingona comedy, yeah.
Chingona comedy. If you guys have not seen this show, it's an excellent lineup.
It is.
Of female comedians. And speaking of female comedians, what is it like to be a female comedian in a male-dominated industry?
You know what? When I first started, I felt very intimidated. You know what I mean? But I feel pretty good now. But maybe because I'm one of the older comedians now, and I'm, you know, and that other tier. But I don't feel so intimidated anymore. But I know it's just hard for women to be in comedy. It's just hard for women, especially Latinas, and not to be disrespectful or anything, but it's kind of part of our culture. You know what I mean? To kind of be at home, you know,
last.
kids come first, husbands come first.
Exactly.
I just happen to be at a point in my life where my kids are all over the age of 20. You know what I'm saying? My husband works from home, so when it's 5 o'clock, I don't feel guilty, you know, or when say, "Yeah, see you later, honey." But I was with him all day. Like I would feel guilty, like if he was at work all
And you
day,
didn't
came home at
see him.
5, and then like he didn't have dinner. You know, I'm making breakfast, lunch, and you know the kids help me with dinner with him for him. You know, but I think it would be a different story. I just happen to be in a good position. You know,
Timing. Your timing is good.
Yeah.
So as a wife and a mom.
it's okay to have kids early, because then
Hey.
they become your road managers. And your
that's
merch
right,
girl.
I have your son. So how many kids do you have again?
I have 4 altogether. We're blended family. 2 are mine, 2 are my husband's.
Okay, got it. And what are the age ranges?
My oldest is 30, and I have 2 girls that are 21, and then my stepson is he's 27.
How do you have a 30-year-old?
I
Were you
was
15?
a little frisky in high school.
Were you 15,
No, I was
16?
19.
Got
19,
it.
yeah.
Got it. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, you look so good.
No,
You
and
young.
it's awesome though, because like I say, I am visually impaired, so he drives me everywhere. You know, he'll go on the road with me. We just did a run in Oklahoma. It was so fun. And I take both of them. My daughter runs like my merch table. My son, he does all my social media. He does all my videos, everything. So I always tell him I gave birth to my road manager.
Right.
It's a little weird, but you know.
Ava's here. My daughter's here. Ava, makeup, hair. Get
Yes.
over here. I'm just kidding. It's always nice to have help, though.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in doing comedy, it is not easy. And I always tell people, if I could do more of it, I would under the circumstances, right? You
Yeah.
need a whole network of support to pull
yeah.
some of these things off. For women, too, we've got a whole other layer of like promoting hair, makeup, the outfit, like getting this and that, getting the work. Like, it
Exactly.
is hard. It is not easy. But you continue to do it, and I admire you for that because
Thank
you go
you.
across the country, girl, and you have. So when we posted your flyer, there was people liking it from all over,
Oh, yeah.
different kind of comedians.
We
and I
just
was
did
like,
New York.
"Dang."
We did Teachers Gone Bad in New York. You know, I'm going to be in California next week on the 21st at the Covina Laugh Factory. So, yeah,
Oh,
it's
wait,
like...
you were a teacher.
Yes.
So so not only does she produce Chingona comedy, but you do
Teachers Gone Bad
Teachers
comedy,
Gone
which are
Bad.
all either former teachers or I always say there's a Teachers Gone Bad curse because almost every teacher, if they were teaching, has either gotten fired or they quit just for doing my show.
You know what? I knew when I met you, I was like, she wasn't a teacher. There's no way.
I was.
Were there students at some point that figured you out? Like, there's no way that this lady is straight and narrow.
No, I was
Or you
behaved.
behaved.
I always behaved, yes. But you know what's funny? Chona's niece
Okay.
was my
Janeska?
student.
Janeska was your
Yes,
student?
Janeska
Oh
was my student.
Where?
And so the first time that I ever booked Chona, I am forgetting it was a little bar. And she came up to me, she was like, Miss Calderon? I was just like,
Calderon.
Yeah, well, that was my other name. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know, I was just
You're
like,
like,
what are
"Don't
you gonna
let-"
say? What did I do? But she was a good kid though, so she won't tell my secrets.
Right. I love Janeska. So,
Yeah.
so tell us about the Teachers Gone Bad.
So
What's that
Teachers
about?
Gone Bad is just I try to mostly hire former teachers that are also comedians because I feel like they have a lot more freedoms to be able to say the things that they want to say on stage, you know. But I do have quite a few, and I have teachers like all across the country. So depending on where I am, I used to just take like a certain crew with me everywhere, but that got a little bit expensive. So now wherever I go, I just get like local comedians, and I'll put like an ad out, you know, in whichever city I'm in, and I'll have 10, 12 comedians send in their reels, tell me how much time they can do, and then from there, that's how I build my lineup.
So
know?
did you quit teaching to do comedy, or it just
No.
kind of
it was
the
my
timing?
vision. My vision was
okay.
because with teachers, you have the LCD projector on, you have to turn off the lights. I couldn't
You
see.
gotta see.
I couldn't see what
You
was
gotta
happening
see the
in the
chalkboard. Well, now they
classroom.
got them whiteboards and digital things. But,
So it was hard for me.
So you decided, okay, we're gonna not do teaching anymore, and then we're gonna go full time comedy.
Yeah. No, actually, I quit teaching, and then I decided to be a homeschool teacher. So I homeschooled my daughter, and then I became like friends with other like homeschool moms. And so I would teach like my subject, and every mom would take like their own like subject, and we just kind of jump around from house to house, and we would have class like from, 10 to 12, and then like just drink like from 12 to 3.
Those homeschool moms.
I know.
There's a reason.
Oh, you have no idea. The homeschool community here in San Antonio,
They get
so
wild.
quiet. Like they zip it. Like they have like their own community, but they're
See, my
it's
sister's
good.
a homeschool teacher, and I always wonder. I'm like, there's a reason why she likes,
And it's so funny because everybody has that thought that, oh, what about they can't. They won't socialize. They can't socialize. After a while, I worried a little bit too much. I'm like, there's a little bit too much socialization. There was too many little parties, too many
have a
pool
lot of
parties, too many
parties.
dances, too many puzzle parties, and yeah, it got to be a little bit too much fun, too much socialization.
So after that, then of course your kids became grown,
Right.
and then the teach. So now you do comedy full time, and you produce your own. And I think that's really cool. Different thing about Irma is that she puts other people on. Yeah. You're not very ego driven or very like, I gotta be the star.
And I have to say, I do have a knack for being able to find
talent?
people. Yeah, I do. I'll see people or kids at open mic, and I'm like, that kid's good. And then all of a sudden he starts coming up in the community, and everybody hates him. And I'm like, are you crazy? Next thing you know, he's got
Blowing
a
up.
headlining gig at LOL. So yeah.
See,
I got a
you
knack
know
for
it.
it.
You know it. And Irma is also a Kill Tony Not a
Yes.
veteran. What do you call it when you've been on Kill Tony?
I've just been on Kill Tony, and you just need one time to do it. And
That's enough.
I like Kill Tony, but just the whole waiting process to get on the stage is a little bit degrading. You know what I mean? Like having to wait and, just. So I got on the first time and I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm good.
So it's a lottery. Am I right?
It is
It's a lottery. So you sign up and you got to wait around. And if they pull your name when the live show is on, then you get to go on and have a minute or two, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they do like a little interview with you.
Got
also.
it.
So I did pretty good. I was y'all go look it up. Irma Ruiz, Kill Tony.
Okay, so did you blow up after that? Like,
No, I didn't.
Were they like, let's pick her
I
up?
gained
And
a little bit of weight, but not too much. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't. I didn't blow up or anything.
So tell us about
Unfortunately.
your comedy. So for those who haven't seen you in Chingona Comedy or Bad Teachers Gone Bad, I don't want to make it say it right. What kind of joke? I know I did the All-Star Comedy Show with you at the Empire here in San Antonio. It was it was hilarious. It was so much fun. We had a great lineup that night. But tell them, like the ones that haven't seen you before.
So most of my jokes, I would say, would be about motherhood. Because that's what I know best. And comedians talk about what they know best. I do a lot of. I talk about teaching. I talk about being a mother. I talk about being a wife. Embarrassing moments. I talk about my mother. I talk about my family. So that's basically it. Just about me. And there are a few stories that I kind of make up, or like they're like half truths.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But some of them can be really bad. So that's why I always tell people, you never know what was the truth or what was a lie.
Mira. What did I say? I remember this last show we did at the Empire was like, that's Irma's the tia that works at Sugar's after after the show's over. You're gonna go see your tia at Sugar's.
Or in the back alley somewhere.
Oh my gosh. So okay, so we went down motherhood, and now you're a wife. So what does your husband feel about you being a comedian? Does he think you're funny?
likes
Usually
it.
our loved ones are like,
No,
you're
he doesn't
dumb.
he doesn't think I'm funny.
None of my
And
family
you know what?
thinks I'm
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I don't like taking him to comedy shows with me, because I get jealous. Like a lot of women, they'll see like their husbands like looking at other women and they get jealous. I don't get jealous about that. I get jealous when my husband laughs at other comedians. I'm like,
Yeah, like you don't laugh at me like that.
how dare you?
What?
Oh, you think he's funny? Oh, you think she's fine? Okay, we'll see when we get home who's funny.
Right?
Yeah.
I
I do get a little
I'm
bit
the
jealous.
sa-
It's so
you know what?
weird.
No, now that I think about it, I didn't think I had that chip in me, but I could imagine the person I'm with, if I saw them look at a woman, that's cool because women are beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hell yeah, she's hot or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get jealous of those things. But to see them laugh, I know. No. Divorce.
Saw you laughing at that other comedian. No, yeah.
But he understands when you're on the road. Does he go with you? Is he
Sometimes he
okay with
does.
that?
Sometimes he does. Or most of the time, whenever he's in Barbados right now, and sometimes when he goes like to some awesome places
Wait, hold on. He's in Barbados.
work.
So when are we going?
I know.
Let's get
I
on the-
wanted to go, but I got a little bit upset because I looked up his hotel and it's not on the beach. So I was like, I'm not going.
Oh, but he's in town.
I know, but still, he's working
the
all
same.
day.
I get it.
Like I have to walk to the beach by myself. We'll go another time. But so whenever he travels, every now and then I'll just go with him. And then
Yeah.
I'll find like little spots. Like I've done Mexico City. They actually have English comedy because I'm not fluent in Spanish.
Oh, you're not?
I'm not fluent. I tell people I speak taco truck Spanish. Like I can roll my R's perfectly, but I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Enchiladas suizas, tacos tapatios. I can say beautifully,
Mira, it
but I
sounds
just
so
can't.
romantic.
I just have I can't speak fluently.
Got you.
But
Okay.
so I've done Mexico City. I've done London. He had to travel to London. So yeah, that was always fun.
So the key to success: find a husband who travels, and then you get to do the gigs in the city that the
Exactly.
husband is. A win-win.
I know. And
Where he at though?
The comedy community is so small that no matter where you go, you can just make a post. Hey, do I know anybody who does comedy in London? Ding, 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 ding. It's so small. That's what I love about it.
I love that you're very passionate about it and you're willing to put yourself out there like that. Like, you know, it doesn't always have to be planned or organized. It's just if you want to do it, you're gonna do it.
Yes.
It's who you are. So what do you think about the comedy scene growing in San Antonio? Because I've noticed it's growing.
Yes, it is growing. I love the San Antonio comedy scene because there's such a mix of comedians. I'm not just talking, you know, different cultures, different races. I'm talking different ages.
Yeah.
Like we have comedians as young as like 19. And I'm not saying just a few, you know, I'm talking like a big bunch. Like every age has a good amount of comedians. Like I was mentioning earlier, like for example, like Austin, everybody thinks of Austin as like, oh, that grungy, you know, Austin is weird type of comedian. And you go to their open mics and, you know, it's a whole, which is fine. You know, it's a whole bunch of like younger kids, you know, talking about
trying
abortion
to make it
and whatever, you know what I mean? But you come to San Antonio and it's like a mix. Like you see younger comedians and you see older comedians. And they're all so respectful of each other. You don't see like the older comedians like, oh, y'all are just kids. And you don't see the younger comedians like, oh, you're just an old fart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they actually will hang out together. You know, you'll see a lot of the older comedians taking the younger comedians, you know, under their wing. And you know what I mean? So I love it. The way that I explain is like, Austin comedy, you go there when you're young, you're single, you're a little bit crazy, you know, then you fall in love and you want a family. So then you come to San Antonio and you do your comedy over here. You know what I mean?
That's so awesome.
It's just
yeah,
different.
no, it's a good analogy. And I feel like, you know, I started in sketch comedy. I never thought I would do stand-up. It wasn't even like, and I was doing, so it's ironic, I was doing speaking engagements.
Yeah.
And also doing sketch comedy. So when I started doing stand-up, they're like, your stage presence is awesome. I'm like, well, because I've been used to speaking in front of people, but it's an art. It's still something that I'm very, very green at. No pun intended. Still learning, but I appreciate women like you who are willing to give a hand up, especially Latinas, because, you know, our culture can tend to be crabs in a bucket, and you're not like that. Chona's not like that. So we're finally making moves. We're finally moving together as a culture, you know, as women, we're making waves. And so that's why I'm so excited you came on the show. Because I was like, people need to know about Irma and everything you have going on. So tell us about the next show you have coming up, because I'm sure you have plenty.
I will be in California. The big one in California, I will be at the Long Beach Laugh Factory. I believe on the 21st, and then, but if you're gonna go to the go to the one on the 24th at the Covina Laugh Factory, please.
And you and Chona just have done that one before.
Yeah,
Covina Laugh Factory, and when's the date?
On the 24th
of May.
Yes, of May this month. Yeah,
dang girl.
In a few days.
Okay,
yes.
I'm gonna pack my bags. I'll be in Cali with you.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else you would like our audience to know about?
Well, are you okay if I share my socials?
Yes, share it all.
So you can find all my socials at sanantoniocomedy.com or mindtwistcomedy.com. Please go look me up. Oh, and something else that I did want to mention. I'm just starting a new podcast.
What?
It's called the Cheaters Podcast.
Tell us about it.
It's a little crazy and I love it.
Is it like the show Cheaters where we're gonna like
No.
find out?
It's I actually have like women or men. I haven't had any men yet, and I just started. We've only done 3 episodes where the women come. But the thing is, I want women who have already been like maybe they've been cheated on, but it's been so many years that they've healed. Okay. And they're ready to tell their story. Oh my God, it is so interesting.
Oh, so do you have a lineup of guests already ready to spill the tea?
I have a few. Okay. I have a few. I don't have dates yet, but I've already done 3 and they're so freaking interesting. Oh my God, yes.
Okay, well
so
let us
Cheaters
know. We'll
podcast
share
on
that.
YouTube, please. Yes.
Cheaters podcast on YouTube.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well thank you so much,
Thank
Irma.
you.
And you guys follow her on all platforms. We will drop her handles, of course, in the comments. And again, you'll probably see us performing together at some point again, because this is my girl here. So thank you again. And we're excited to see what happens, because you're all over. You are all over, girl. Well, here we go. So for our next guest, before we get to our next guest, we're going to roll some very special footage from comedian Steve Trevino all about this beautiful lady named Captain Evil.
There are times that me and my wife are in an argument, and then we both start laughing, because she knows I'm gonna bring it on stage. So here's one of those arguments. Captain Evil made me do a sleep study. I found out I was dying 49 and a half times a night. You laugh, but I would wake up scared, man. And then my wife, oh my God, every time you die, you wake me up. I go, one time, Dad, before you die, please tell me you love me, please. She goes, do you tell your wife you love her? I said, of course I do, Dad. Every day I tell my wife I love her. And look how she treats you. She'll argue with the GPS. Why did you turn there? I'm like, I don't know. NASA told me to. She'll be like, well, if you want to do that and be happy, you should. And I'm like, oh, no. I don't want to be happy. I want to be with you.
All right, you guys, we are back, and I am so honored to have Captain Evil herself, Renae Trevino, in the house.
I was like, do you know my real name?
You were like, are you going to keep calling me that? Yes, Renae Smith Trevino. Ayo, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you. I've been wanting to have you on for a while.
I know, I'm glad we finally made this happen.
Yes, I know, because you're a busy mom. So she is a producer, an actress, all mom things, and of course, you're the wife of Steve Trevino. Like, how do you do all the things? Tell me your secrets.
I wish there was a secret. It's not, I mean, I drop a lot of balls.
Okay.
I'm juggling a lot and a lot gets dropped. And I'm lucky that I have people who love me and give me grace, and I give myself the same. And I just keep going. You just keep going.
Right?
Yeah.
We
you
figure
try and get
it
a good
out.
night's sleep.
Yeah.
And then you just keep going.
Sometimes I just cry it out.
Yeah.
Do you cry? Are you a crier? Or are you a thrower? Like, we get the chunk line, you just like throw something.
I'm a get on the bike and like spin.
Okay.
Like
you
take
spin
it out on the bike.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
I do all the things.
Cry. I cry privately when nobody's looking. No, actually mine is eat when nobody's looking, because then the calories don't count.
That's right.
I eat my emotions.
Well, they do say that sweat is fat crying. Oh, wait. Is that what it is? So that's what I do to the gym too, because I'm like, but then I feel better, and we get through it.
Yes.
But no, I am honored to have you here. And if you guys don't know anything about Renae, you got to look her up. But I admire her because she has produced multiple episodes for her husband's Netflix specials and his specials in general.
His comedy specials, yeah.
His comedy specials. And we were talking about it offline, but how did you even get into that? And now that you work as a duo, you guys are just kicking ass. So tell me.
It started out of necessity.
Okay.
Because he got his first special and it was on HBO, and that was great. And then he thought, okay, I've got a special on the air. This is really going to get my career rolling. And it didn't.
Dun, dun, dun. Surprise, everybody. Sometimes
you think you think it's going to be your big break, and it's not your big break. And so we decided that we were just going to produce his comedy specials, and we were just going to make it happen, the two of us. I went to NYU, and so I sort of had a theater or production background, and I believed in him, and I thought it was really funny. And he was touring the country as a comedian at the time, so it was like people were buying tickets, people were laughing, he had an audience there. And so we just said, we're going to do this. And that special, Till Death, we went to our hometown of Corpus. He secured the Bank Center, and we basically knew we had to sell tickets to pay for it. And it was coming, and tickets weren't selling, and we were like, how are we going to pay for this? And he was like, no, we're going to do it. People are going to buy tickets. People are going to buy tickets. And so he really willed it into the universe. And made it happen. And so that I was a consulting producer on.
Okay.
And that was kind of how I started to get my chops wet in the comedy world, because I was from the theater world. And then from there, we just kept doing it.
And
we just kept doing it together.
Growing.
Learning with each one. Now we're 5 or 6 in, and the last one is Simple Man on Netflix.
Which is hilarious, by the way. If you haven't seen Simple Man,
I'm super proud of it, and that I directed.
And that was filmed here.
It was filmed here in San Antonio. Yeah, at the Tobin Center. And they let me have full reins. He told Netflix, I want my wife to direct it. And I kept waiting. I thought there was going to be some fight.
Were they going to say, like, no, well...
Yeah, or we don't necessarily think that's a good choice. We think you should go with a more known director or something like that. They were like, sure, you
Yeah,
want to let her direct
yeah.
it, she can direct it. So at that point, I had assistant directed the previous ones.
Okay.
So I felt really good about it. But but it was
that,
awesome.
though.
It was awesome. I feel like it's my baby. He hasn't even watched the whole thing through. Meanwhile, I've sat through
And you're
hours
watching
and hours
angles.
of edits. Yes, I've sat through so many versions of it. So I've seen it a lot, but
It
he's never
is
even
your
watched the whole thing all the way
baby.
through. It is my baby.
It is. And
It for sure is.
how does it feel to know that you guys, as a couple have been able to get through entertainment in general, whether he was an actor, whatever,
Yeah.
a personality, radio, TV, like it is not easy. And so how do you feel about being able to persevere when you guys, you have to bet on yourself literally sometimes. Like, we're going to guess that we're going to sell this thing out.
I mean, that's the scary part. One special, was it Till Death? Now there's been so many, I can't remember which one it is, but there was one special that we self-produced, and when we finished, we had $400 in our bank account.
Yeah.
And that was scary. But with each one, it just got easier, and with each one,
You learn,
more
right?
doors and more opportunities opened up. And you kind of just have to trust yourself. You have to really, really trust yourself and believe in yourself. And it was great that we were doing it together, that we had, we were going through the scary stuff together. But when I first moved to LA, when it's happening, you don't realize like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to learn from this situation. But when I first moved to LA, I worked for a husband and wife writing and directing team. And they didn't do comedy.
Okay.
They produced movies.
Okay.
They did Nim's Island was one of their movies. And I went with them to Australia. I was working as their nanny. I was literally working as their nanny. And they got the offer to go make this movie in Australia. And they said, Renae, do you want to go with us?
Pack my bags.
Yeah. Do you want? And my husband and I were dating at the time, but he was like, if you don't take this opportunity and see it through, he's like, I feel like you're going to regret it, and you might even resent me a little bit for it.
Yeah.
So he's very wise and had the fortitude to know. But I just thought, like, let me just get close to it.
Okay.
I'm working as the nanny, but I'm gonna be on set all the time. They're gonna be working crazy hours, and they're gonna want their kids there.
Right,
I'm going
right.
from pre-production all the way through filming. And I thought, let me just get there. And we filmed at a Warner Brothers in Brisbane. They're in Australia.
Oh my
And I thought,
What
let
an
me be
experience.
as close to it as I can. Let me be like adjacent to it and see what this is. And what I really took away from the experience was watching a husband and wife work together. They directed a movie together. Like that's hard.
That is, I've never heard of
know?
that before. A husband and a wife directing a movie together.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They wrote it together and they directed it together. And I just learned so much from that experience. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to work with my husband. I want it to be a family thing. And I think when I met Steve and we started dating, my brain wasn't even there yet. It wasn't till like it started to happen that I was like, oh yeah, God put the Flackett Levins in my life. Like they were supposed to be a part of my path to see how it works.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And like I do truly believe you're not going to know all the answers right now. You just take it day by day, experience by experience, and sometimes it will all flow together for a reason, right? But no, that's great. And I think, with this The Simple Man is just like hilarious. Steve is also obviously very talented, but I feel like he gets interviewed a lot, but like the woman, the right-hand girl, like I'm like, no, let's interview her because she's a chingona and she's a badass in her own right, And so I definitely wanted our audience to get to know you.
He's definitely the face of the show. I definitely feel more comfortable with that. But I am so passionate about the details. Like for me, his specials that will be his legacy. That's the gift that he leaves behind. So yes, I directed Simple Man, and yes, it's my baby, but as a collection, all of the specials are so special to me. They're like a timestamp in our life because he's talking about us, he's sharing stories about us and our family, but also when I'm making directorial decisions about a special, I'm thinking of how does this special fit into the anthology of the other specials, And
yeah.
sure,
You're
someone
thinking
else
of
could
all the
direct his
things.
specials, but I just, in my heart of hearts, I know no one would care as much as I do. It's my heart too.
And the full picture, the whole from the start to the finish.
Yes.
You know the whole picture.
Yeah,
of
and
everything.
you know what, you say that, and I think one of the things is because he and I talk about what is the goal, what is the vision, what is the message and the story that we want to tell. And it's not just with one special, like, yes, it is, what do we want to tell in that particular special, but also what's important to us. And for he and I, we are both very passionate about how Hispanics are portrayed in the media. You know, and part of that is the obstacles that we faced, the no's that we've heard when we want to tell a certain story a certain way.
Yes.
And so we both really share that vision. And I think sometimes other producers or directors or partners that we have worked with haven't fully understood what that means.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like it's such a gift that he gives me this amazing body of work to work with, and I get to then use that to push a vision or a mission that we're both really proud of.
I love, that's very beautiful to find that purpose and the meaning, you know, behind all of it.
Yeah.
So has there ever been a time where y'all wanted to throw in the towel? Like, we're done. We're going to go get full-time jobs. You go there, I'll go here. Like, have you ever had those moments?
Yes, in more ways than one. He will not let me live it down. The one time we were not gonna make rent, and it was getting rough. And I was like, will you just go get a job at Target? And now every time something happens, or he's mad at me, or something like really
I'm going
big
to
or
Target.
great happens, he's like, you remember that time you wanted me to get a job at Target? You didn't believe in me. And I'm like, oh, bug off. We've been together a long time. But also, even with he and I are both such strong personalities, and we both have such strong opinions on things. We're very different in the way we approach work. And so those first couple of specials that I worked on, I mean, he must have loved me a lot because we fought a lot.
Leading up to it to make it happen?
Yeah.
Okay, where you guys were just like, oh.
Yes. You're working together, you're dealing with the things that annoy you at home then come to work with you.
God, I
You
can't
know what
even
I mean?
imagine.
So it's a lot, but we've gotten better at it with each special, and so I'm really proud of that, of how we have learned to work together and navigate together. I know some couples are like, oh yeah, it's so easy, like working with my husband. It was not like that for us in the beginning. It was a learned process.
You learned as you've gone through it, and now you have two beautiful children, and they're young. They're
I got a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm in the thick of mommyhood.
You are.
Yeah.
And how is that going? How's mommyhood balancing? And if you guys follow Renae, please follow her, and of course Steve on all the platforms. But you're
I'm
the
on
Pinterest.
Instagram.
Steve says that you have a degree from Pinterest.
Yes, Steve says I got my interior design degree on Pinterest because I love to share home decor and entertaining
But you're about
and stuff
the
like that.
details. But they go all out, you guys. The Trevinos. I want to be invited to one of y'all's parties because if you look at their Easter, the birthdays, like they are the ones that do
Halloween is my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
Halloween is my favorite. It's the theater nerd in me.
Is it like months and months of planning, or are you just pulling stuff off right before? Like, are you a planner in that way?
No, you know what? I've sort of gotten into a rhythm, and I mark it on the calendar like when a certain holiday is coming up. But this is ridiculous. So our house that we live in now, they had horses. So they had a shipping container that they stored horse stuff in. We don't have horses, so I store my holiday. I have a shipping container full of holiday decorations, like shelves with 4th of July.
You
Easter,
can just tell,
every season.
That must be a dream for you.
Organized. It is. It's amazing.
So you're like, okay, here we go.
So then there's a certain time of the year where the tubs come out of the shipping container and move into the garage, so that I can little by little start to put it up. Yeah.
You would have a field day at my house because I have no decorations. I am just not gifted. My vision for putting things and colors and paint, I don't know how to do any of that. So you would probably be like, this is
I'm the friend that has a tub of backup decorations and shows up at your house and starts placing and putting
come
stuff.
on over.
Yeah.
But no, if you guys follow her, she's very crafty, and then you also have videos of yourself doing different crafts and projects.
On my
and
Instagram, I share. Yeah, I am Renae with an A is my Instagram. That's where I share that stuff.
I am Renae with an A, which is very different.
Yes.
And how do you feel about when he calls you Captain Evil?
At this point now, it is. I have earned it like a badge of honor.
You
Actually,
have.
I showed up today to volunteer at my daughter's school, and there's the clear plexiglass, like you're at a bank, and then it has a little opening at the bottom. And I'm like, hey, I'm here to volunteer for Delilah's class, whatever. And then the woman at the front desk goes, come down to the opening, you know? So I'm like, hi,
Oh.
like, what did I do? She's like, you're Captain Evil.
So you're like, yep.
I guess she must have just like figured it out and watched a clip, or someone else in the office must have told her, like,
Okay.
you know, she's Captain Evil, right? But yeah, so it was funny. They call me Captain Evil at the school too.
And if you guys aren't familiar with Steve's stand-up, he uses, I mean, really, literally being a husband and a dad is the topic of a lot of what his comedy is.
Yeah.
And Miss Renae here is the topic,
Well,
the
you know,
inspiration.
I mean, that's what's so crazy.
It's
The way it
hilarious.
started was he made a joke, and it wasn't even like that big of a joke. It was like a blip of
like
a joke.
just the thing that came to his head, right?
And he was just like, he said, I call my wife Captain Evil. Can we curse on this podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he said, I call my wife Captain Evil because she's like a fucked up superhero. Anytime I'm having too much fun, she shows up, you know? She like ruins the party. And then it just grew from there. And before you knew it, because we travel together quite a bit, I'd be on the road with him after shows, and people would be like, Captain Evil.
You're the star.
My husband calls me Captain Evil too. I'm a Captain Evil. And it turned into like this moniker that people identified with. They'd be like, my husband has me saved in his phone as Captain Evil too, you know?
Yes.
And so it took off. It like took on this life of its own that I never imagined it would. It's
awesome.
crazy.
It is so awesome. And it's so relatable. His comedy is very relatable. And so he's talking about you, and I'm like, oh my gosh. When he's like, my wife buys containers for containers to have containers.
We
Like,
just talked about my holiday decorations and containers in a shipping container. It's true.
oh, or like, he'll say like, I thought I parked fine for 30 years. My parking is fine.
I
But
don't
with
know.
you,
I don't think he did. Did you really? I don't think
but
so.
with you, I can't park. I can't find where to park.
I don't think so.
So it's amazing, and it's so funny. And I also feel like while people are like, oh, vulgarity and comedy, you don't even feel it, you don't even hear it. It's just so relatable, and it feels like almost family oriented. Like it's weird. It's like you're just listening to a friend talk.
He's
about
telling stories.
He's telling stories, and so but no, I find it funny because I'm like, you're the star of all of his stories. How does that feel?
The
You're
butt of all his jokes. I'm the butt of all his jokes.
Have
Well, not
you-
all of them. Now it's turning into our kids. We'll see how that.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
see how
the
that plays out.
kids. I know.
I need to ask Irma advice about that because she's got older kids. How that plays out.
Well, Ava
do they
doesn't
hate
know.
you for it later?
She doesn't know. I do this joke. She does know. She's 11 now, but I do a joke that I don't know who her dad is. But I do know who the dad is. If you really get to know us, you'll know. I'll clearly know who the dad is. But like the whole joke is like, people always ask me who her dad is. I'm like, I don't know. But I've told her, and she understands now. She just rolls her eyes like, okay.
She's heard you like say it in a comedy club.
Oh yeah, multiple times. Well, not in a comedy club. I don't let her go. Do you do your kids go to the shows?
So what we do is we will travel together. And I loved it, Irma, when I heard her talk about her son is her road manager and her daughter helps her sell merch because it's very much, I call it our traveling circus, our family traveling circus. We do take the kids on the road with us because life on the road is lonely. It's like sad. It can be sad and depressing. And it's also exhausting traveling with kids. So we try and balance it out. So that
Do you have help?
Steve's
Do you have
not
the helpers
lonely on the
that help
road.
you with the kids?
When they were younger, when Delilah was littler, I did because it was harder. Now, I feel like I'm in a phase where my kids need more of me.
Yeah.
And so I am trying to balance it. Some days better than others. But we go on the road as a family.
Okay.
And we'll go, we show up at the club, we have dinner with Dad before the show, or the theater, wherever we are, backstage. Sometimes he'll bring the kids up on stage. We'll say hi at the top of the show, and then we get the hell out of there, and the kids and I head back to the hotel while he's on stage. But sometimes, because my son wants to stay after and sell merch, he figured like he gets tip money. People tip him, and he likes
He's
that.
a businessman
Or Steve's
already.
road manager will tip him because they sell more shirts when Garrett's at the merch table. So he likes to stay. So sometimes I go back to the hotel with just Delilah, and Garrett will hang back, but we've got him in there with a tablet, or I'll always tell the guys, like, turn down the volume.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he hears some of it. He knows some of it. He knows I'm Captain Evil, actually. It's funny that you said that, too, because at his school, he came over from school one day, and he goes, Mom, can you tell them who you are? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, can I tell them who I am? What do you mean? And he goes, well, can you tell them you're Captain Evil? Like, I don't think they know you're Captain Evil. I was like, son, I don't think you're going to get hooked up because they know I'm Captain Evil. Yeah, it doesn't carry a lot of weight. But so he knows a little, he knows kind of what's going on, but He doesn't know all the jokes.
And do they process like, okay, my dad's on stage and this is what he does? I think when they're little like that, that's all they know. So they don't know any different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Delilah at 4 does. And that's crazy. She already comprehends that like dad's leaving. He's going on the road. He'll be back in a couple of days. And because she's traveled with us enough, she knows what that means. She knows that means he gets on a plane, and she knows that means he goes on stage and there's lots of people in the audience, you know? So I think it helps for them to travel
With
too,
you.
so that they
Yeah.
understand and they kind of grasp what's going on.
So when you're not doing all of the things,
Uh-huh.
what do you do for yourself? Like, what does your self-care look like? Mija, I have to take care of you right now. I need to
I
know.
told my therapist, I said, I come here for an hour every 2 weeks. And she said, Renae, therapy does not count as self-care.
No, it
The
doesn't.
hour
That's
you're
just
here talking
regular
with me
medicine.
does not count. No.
Spa day? Tell me there's
Oh,
something.
yes.
Okay.
I love a good spa day. I love sweating it out in a sauna. I'm pretty active. So for me, like taking it out on the exercise bike and the endorphins. You get endorphins when you laugh, and you get endorphins when you exercise. And I think I'm married to a comedian because I'm addicted to endorphins.
But does he, because, you know, our loved ones don't think we're fun. I mean, I know Irma would agree. Our loved ones, none of my family thinks I'm funny.
Yeah.
Like they'll chuckle, but they're not like, you're funny. No. Do you think he's
makes
funny?
me- yes.
Okay.
I'm both. I think he's really incredibly talented, you know, and from a performer background, I'm very much in
You
awe of
see
his
it.
art and what he does. But there are also times when I'm sitting in the back of an audience and he does a new joke that I like spit and laugh. Like in Simple Man, what was the joke? He talks about, he says he should have married someone who was fat and chubby. And then he says, oh, looking back, that's what she did. Like, that's what I did. I married someone who's fat and chubby. I was smart. But when he told that joke the first time and I heard it in the back of the audience, I think I literally spit my drink out because I was like, damn, that's such a good joke, you know?
I love it. I love that you see his talent and you can appreciate it too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like it's just different dynamic with different relationships with people where there's like, I don't see you as a comedian. I just see you as this.
But
or
I think
don't see you as
I think
that.
it's different because you're a performer. Or like, you know, Irma said earlier, she said, I can spot talent. I can see that. And I certainly don't think I'm a talent spotter, but I
But you
think that
have it.
I can see something and see the vision and want to direct it. I take notes in the back, you know. When he's getting ready to film a special, especially with Simple Man, I went on the road a little more. We left the kids behind a little more, so that I could be watching the set over and over again and kind of helping craft it and put in the female perspective. Because what he does is like, you know, he is Hispanic. It is a little machismo sometimes, or misogynistic. And so I kind of try to come in and soften it up a little.
You do? Well, I didn't know that because I didn't feel that at all. I've never felt that with any
Well,
of them.
that's because you haven't heard the really awful jokes. I cut them out.
See, you're saving his ass every time. See?
No, that's not true. It's just little tweaks. I mean, I think in the course of our relationship, there's probably only been maybe 3 jokes that I was like, oh,
Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay.
Or don't say it like this. You
Okay.
know, that sounds really homophobic when you say it like that. And I know that's not what he means. That's not where his heart is, you know, but just an outside perspective.
Sure. Yeah. And that's awesome that you have each other to bounce those things off. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what makes you guys a dynamic
Well, that he
duo.
trusts me enough to like
Yeah,
take
and-
my notes into consideration. Yeah. Because he could say bug off.
Exactly.
what
yeah,
do
he
you
could
know?
be like, this
You
is
know?
fine, that's yours, stay over there.
Yeah.
But you guys work so well together. I love that. And you have a podcast.
We do. We
So
do
tell
a
us
podcast
about your
together.
podcast.
We started a podcast during COVID because he, like other touring comedians, was grounded and not going anywhere. And when you're used to traveling every weekend, you know, you're gone Thursday through Sunday and then you're home for a couple of weeks. That's like a huge life change. And I'm used to him being gone 3 or 4
Yeah,
days.
so you're like,
a
why are
week,
you
know?
here? You're
I was
home?
Like, time for you to go. But no, he was watching the news every day, and it's the same. They're telling you the same crap when you're sitting at home watching the news during COVID. So I was like, we got to do something. Like, we got to do something creative, and I don't care what it is, but you've got to do something. So we started doing Facebook Live. Was how we started it,
Saved,
and we
right.
called it "Pardon the Bitching."
Pardon the bitching.
Yes. So like there was a sports show that was called Pardon the Interruption, and they would talk sports back and forth.
Oh,
But
yeah.
We turned it into Pardon the Bitching, and it was a husband and wife. Like, what do you want to complain about? What do I want to complain about? You know?
I love
And it had a time limit, so we could only complain for so long. Was how it started. But one of our longtime producer friends, who's been a producer on almost all of Steve's specials as well, he was like, "You guys, this is really funny, and you're really bad at the tech side of it," because we couldn't even figure out how to turn the Facebook live
The camera's
off.
all wrong.
We were like,
the
"How do
whole
we turn this
time.
thing off?" So he was like, "Let's take this out of your kitchen and off your laptop, and let's like really do it." So that's how it started, and now it's been like, I think Rick said the other day, it's been like 5 years. Because how many years has it been
Wow.
since COVID?
Around
Right?
5?
Yeah.
2020?
Yeah.
God,
So we've
this
been doing
time
it
warp.
for 5 years.
How, and you guys do it every week, and you can
We do
find
it
it
once
on
a
all
week.
platforms.
It's on, it's anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but it's also on Steve's YouTube and Facebook, Steve Trevino.
Okay.
It lives there if people want to see the video of it. And we have, now we have a home studio, and we film it in our house every week.
Nice. That's the goal. I'm working on that home studio part.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, personally and professionally?
What's
going
next?
on?
We are working on the next special and getting that act ready. We're thinking maybe we'll film it in Nashville, the next one. Only because, well, I shouldn't say only because, one, because Nashville's a great city. But two, Steve has kind of been known for filming his specials in Texas. And so I think he wants to show people and like prove to audiences that he's funny everywhere and that he's not just a regional comic, which early on in his career, he heard a lot from comedy clubs. Well, you know, oh, you're Mexican. They like you in
They only
Arizona.
like you in-
They
yeah.
like you in Florida. And he's like, no, I sell out in Boston. They like me there too. And Pittsburgh. And so I think Nashville is kind of something he wants to check.
makes
Like,
so
look
much
at
sense.
me. I'm relatable everywhere, regardless of whether or not you're Hispanic or not.
Yes,
So I'm excited because I'll direct another special, and I really love doing that. That's my happy place. But also, I'm going to be the host of San Antonio Women in Film's Celestial Awards
Oh,
next year.
okay. And that's how I met you in person.
Yeah.
Was at last year's Celestial Awards. You were an award winner.
Yes.
And so now you're going to host?
They've asked me to come back and be the host
Oh
of the
my
next
gosh,
one,
that's
so I'm super excited. That'll be fun.
That's
Yeah.
a great, it's called Women in Media and Film, or
Women
TV
in Film, Women in TV and Film.
Okay.
And it started as the San Antonio chapter, but now it's Texas-wide. It is Women in
Nice.
TV and Film of Texas.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
We will be on the lookout for that. And okay, so before I forget, because we do have to wrap, but I wanted to talk about the laser lipo. Have you ever had like any Botox, filler, lipo? Like, have you ever done any cosmetic
I
stuff?
want all the things.
Girl,
I
if I
just
have
get
the
regular,
money,
I just
I'm
get
doing it.
regular facials, but I think I wanna lift them up, and I want all the things.
Me too. Because we're is it okay that I don't want to speak for you, but we did agree we're a part of the itty bitty titty.
I am a part of the Itty Bitty
Committee.
Titty Committee. Yes.
And there is a procedure, like it's called sculpt something. And
I was like, can they take it from
They
here
can.
and put it in here, and will it stay in here
But
and
it
not come
won't.
back here? That's what I want.
It
That's what I
won't.
want.
That's the thing, is the one that I've researched is a lot of people waste a lot of time and money because if they put it in here and you exercise, it burns the fat. And
That's the first place I lose it.
Me too.
I'm like, can I lose it from here or here, please? Like someplace else.
I know, but I, you know, the little carne that I do have is because I had Ava. Like, I literally tell people I have been the same booby size since I was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing changed since 12 years old. The only thing that changed was a little more carne from Ava, you know, having to feed a child and keep her alive or whatever. But no, so I tried laser lipo recently on my back.
Uh-huh.
So I have these two,
No,
like,
you said it's laser or is it liquid?
I'm sorry,
What is it?
Sorry, liquid lipo injection.
Okay.
PCDC.
But I thought they were
wanna
supposed
say
to
it
be
right.
taking things out, not putting things in.
So they're putting things in and the injection part, because what it is, it's like an acidic formula and they inject it and it breaks down the fat and you release it through your lymphatic system. Pretty much you just pee it out, but you
Okay.
water kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So I had a girlfriend, her name is Heather, and hold on, wait. House of Aesthetics Med Spa. I want to make sure I give a shout out to the girls there. But my friend Heather had done a video, and we're the same size. We're kind of petite, same body type and everything. She showed me her back because I had like these, I don't know, is it all Mexican girls, short Mexican girls? We have like these back long ass. Like right here, even when when I was a hot young thing, I had these little things, these little like lonjas on my back, and I couldn't ever. And I saw her do it, and within 2 weeks, her results were like, psh. So I had to.
Okay, how much do they have to put in?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Does it burn? Like if you said it's like some sort of acid, do you like feel it burning your insides?
Well, actually, the only part that hurts it, so they put lidocaine, of course, they numb you. They give you a good amount of time to get numb. But what hurts is like it picas the needle. You feel the needle, the ding, 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 ding. But I've done microblading, I've done filler, so I'm used to like that needle feel.
Yeah, but microblading is nothing. That's just like a little razor. That's
like
different. That's nothing.
With this, so that's the part that didn't even hurt. It's the after. So that night I was all, ooh.
You feel your insides melting and dying?
Like it just felt, and the next day I could barely move. It literally feels like a bat, like to your back. Not that I want to stray you away.
You couldn't move?
You can barely move. So if you're not popping that Tylenol, girl, you are like, this is brutal. So it's got to be worth it. Oh, you know.
Irma's off camera. She
You know,
said,
I better be skinny as hell after all this shit I've been doing.
Well, no, I'm like, well, if it means like I get to lay in bed for a day afterwards and everybody leaves me the hell alone, then I really want it.
That's what I wanted for Mother's Day.
That's not how it works.
That's what I told them. Like, what do you want for Mother's Day? I'm like, I want everybody to leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't want your brunch, and I don't want your like Bath and Body Works. I really don't. I just want everybody to leave me alone. Go hide in the car.
No questions, no cooking.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Renae. We're going to wrap it up here. Is there anything else you want to let our audience know about you and what else you got? The Trevinos got going on.
What else the Trevinos got going on? No, we're good.
Thank
we're
you
good,
so much.
yeah.
We're so excited to have you come on Bean and Cheese Man. We, of course, support everything you guys are doing. So
Thank you.
find them across all the platforms. And, of course, we'll leave it in the comments. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Our next episode is May the 29th right here at Credit Human. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, if you would like to sponsor and advertise on this show, we are always open to that. Of course, that's how we make our skits. That's how we produce our show. So we thank you guys for the support. And of course, shoot us a DM if you're interested. Thank you so much and have a good night. Bye.